So we talk a lot about horror. I am doing a top 10 movies of the year, but I just had to do a top 5 horror movies of the year because we talk so much horror here and we definitely want to talk about as much as we can. And this year in horror, it was so hard to do a top list. I want to do a top 10, but I felt like that would be so redundant with a top 10 movie list already. So I said top 5 horrors. This took a bit to pretty much wind down to because so many good horror films came out this year. I could have made like a top 50 because there were so many good horror films this year. But let's get right into it. Before we do, however, we are funding our own horror movie right now. Go to Indiegogo down below in the link and check out our campaign for our horror movie right now titled Minced Meat for now. This is a horror movie that we are very passionate about. We finished the script. We are storyboarding right now. And we're trying to get as much funding as we can to make this as best as possible. So make sure you fund us down below or share the Indiegogo campaign. But let's get into it. Our top 5 horror movies. So I have them written down right here. I should have remembered it from the top of my head, right? But Deadstream comes at number 5. I think Deadstream is one of those movies that many people overlooked this year, but I think in the coming months and years it is going to develop a cult following. This comes to us from Joseph and Vanessa Winter, who also have a short on VHS 99 to Hell and Back, which I think is just as good as Deadstream as well, so definitely check out those two pieces. But if you're a fan of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, if you want something new and fresh from horror found footage, this is your movie right here because it basically follows a YouTuber who is trying to sort of build back his reputation after a stunt, and it reminds us of somebody very, very much so from a forest, but we won't get much into those details right here. But I think the way that this movie navigates itself with horror and comedy mixed in and the found footage whole idea sort of thrown in there really gives us something special that we hadn't seen in some time from this genre. And I really do think that this is one of those movies, like I said, it will develop a cult following and people will be talking about it in a couple of years. And like, trust me, go check this out because you don't want to miss out on it. So number 4 on my list is going to be Piggy. Piggy, I got a chance to check out at Fantastic Fest. This is one of those films that I was really, really excited for once I got a wider release. I do believe that the wider release wasn't as talked about as it should have been. And like Deadstream, I think this is going to develop a cult following over the months and years as people start to find out about it and talk about it a little bit more. Cinematography here is beautiful. I think that the story is very interesting as well. And like Deadstream, small bits of comedy sprinkled here and there really add to this movie so much. Social commentary and everything. It is just one of those movies I think that everybody should check out. Very much so a Brian De Palma slasher-esque feel to this movie as well, and I really do enjoy it for that factor. It is in Spanish, but I really do recommend checking this movie out for sure. Piggy is one of those movies I think will for sure be talked about in a couple of months once people realize like, hey, I missed out on this movie. So check it out if you can. Piggy. Number 3, and probably the most controversial movie on here, and probably one of the most controversial movies of the year, Halloween Ends. So Halloween Ends. Everybody hated this movie. Everybody loved this movie. It's nowhere in between. You can't say you're in the middle of this one for sure because you either hate it or you love it. And I fall into I love it. I really do love that they stopped doing the whole Laurie and Michael thing because it got bored out in my opinion. And I was ready to see something new. I like the risk factor they take into it to really give us a very compelling new Halloween movie that feels fresh and really can take the franchise into elements and sort of like ideas that we hadn't had before. I think that the score here that was done as well was beautiful and I still listen to it. I think it's really great. Boy Harsher in this movie as well really adds to it. I think the whole thing with Corey and everything was interesting as well, and it makes sense in order to sort of push the story. We had a Michael that was very weakened in the last movie. It wouldn't have made sense for him to keep going on a rampage at the full velocity that we know Michael to go, so it was good to add a new body in there to do so, and then at the end give us the punch of Michael. I think this movie was very much so hated for a lot of reasons is due to the marketing that really marketed in a way that it wasn't going to be, and I think that doesn't fall onto what the directors and the writers wanted to do with it because they did what their own thing and the marketing did its own thing, and it's just a fault of maybe marketing to the wrong audience and the wrong idea and concept of it. Overall, I am a fan of this movie and I really like it. So number 3 on my list for horrors. Number 2 is going to be Pearl. So it was kind of hard for me to decide between Pearl and X because I do like both of those movies. Ultimately, I decided to put Pearl over X on here just because I like the whole snowball buildup of Pearl. I like seeing when you see a killer or somebody go mad throughout the film, and really once those kills and everything start coming through, it really is much more of a gut punch than if we get into a movie where there's a killer already that's kind of established and then we just see it happen. In this movie we saw the psychosis breakdown of Pearl, and I really did enjoy seeing that more than I did what I saw from X. So overall, I think this is a great one. The monologue at the end for Mia Goth as well is one of the reasons Pearl is on my top 10 list overall as well, because I really do enjoy seeing when an actor really goes full on with their character, and I can tell that is a lot of things that are just coming straight from like her head straight into the character, just how she's feeling at the moment. And I really did enjoy this movie overall, because at the end of the day it leaves you with this sort of like feeling of like, oh, what did I just watch? I like the parallels as well to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, especially at the end with the family dinner scene, and I really did enjoy this movie a lot. So Pearl comes in at number 2. Now my number 1 favorite horror film of 2022, and this is one of those movies that when back in 2021, I heard about this movie and I was like, might be good. Then 2022 came and I saw it, and I was just floored and just loving this movie. I saw it 3 times, and I definitely am planning to see it again before the end of the year, and that is going to be Barbarian. Barbarian was a film that I really did enjoy so much, because it was a horror film that was very much so like taking ideas that we've seen and tropes and everything, and I said, we know where this is going, and then it completely said, you thought. And it really did flip the script almost. And I like when movies do that. I don't like seeing a movie go in the easy conventional way and not taking risk. I wanted to take as much risk as possible, because in my opinion that's the only way you progress into whatever art it is. And in film, I think that horror had been sort of stuck to a cliche for a bit for the past 5 years, and Barbarian came and said, let's shift it all around and give you something different. And that's what it did. I think that Barbarian is a film that does a good job at sort of giving you tension, giving you this B-horror vibe as well, and at the end of the day just giving you a very thrilled and action ride. It's for sure like one of the best sequences, definitely that basement scene when it's first discovered by our main character, and as we're navigating through it, and then that big pop-up that comes, and then we cut and we like sort of start a new movie. And I really enjoyed it. I thought that was such a great way of doing an intermission as well. Not really an intermission, but I think I really did enjoy how the movie was paced and the structure of it. But overall, those are my top 5 horror films. They might not be yours, but they are mine. I want to know yours now. Comment them down below. What was your favorite horror movie of 2022? Give me a list if you want, and make sure you also check out our Indiegogo. Like I said, we're still trying to fund our Indiegogo campaign. Go check it out on the link down below. We are about 2 weeks away and not even halfway. So will we make it? Will we not? I don't know. Let me know what you think about that though in the comments down below about my horror film picks, and make sure you are also subscribed to the channel down below. Hit that notification bell for more videos. Check out our video we just did as well on Holy Spider, our review on it, and tomorrow we have our top 10 movies of the year as well, so don't miss out on that. But as always, that is going to do it for me. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that good stuff. I'll see all of you next time. Stay safe, stay positive.